Brethren, the journey now starts. It's all kind of things he's bringing up from your past. People that in your past that you don't even deal with, all of a sudden they're popping up all over the place. It's all kind of temptations. What we have to do is to keep ourselves rooted and grounded and focus on the truths of the plan of salvation. Because, brethren, the warfare, it ain't nowhere close to finish. It will only finish when we see Christ coming. That is the only time it will finish. Because remember, it have battles still after that, eh? It still have battles, eh? We have to keep ourselves rooted and grounded in the truth. And according to Sister Shaki, going through the Word of God, you may see it yourself, and the Holy Spirit, you know, you yield to what the Holy Spirit showing you, and you learn to deal with yourself. Sometimes you ain't see it, but our brethren may see it. So make yourself learn to be easy to deal with. Yes. Learn to be easy for the brethren to come and say, well, here, what now? So I just switch real fast. Once I say I wrong, it ain't taking me 2 seconds, I got it. Once I say I wrong, make yourself soft and easy to be entreated by the brethren. Remember, it's not only for your development, but it's also for the brethren development, because when we deal with somebody, we also deal with ourselves, by God's grace. So, brethren, it is a struggle that will continue until we see the coming of Christ. So prepare your minds for that. Prepare your minds and keep yourselves rooted and grounded in the truths of the plan of salvation.
One of the thoughts that came to mind when I was reading over this quotation, right? And I heard this here, I don't know who said it, but I heard it here, and it's something that stayed with me all the time. What was said is that temptation is a useless tool in the hand of the devil until you give it power.
Amen.
Right? And it's something that went on the feet, and but I mean, amen. I know I ain't here for sure. So, when one of the things I just use on the field to present to me that, you know, we will always sin and present temptation as if temptation is sin, this is something I'm able to use, and they will see that, you know, temptation is not sin. And it's something I use for myself. You know, when temptation do come to me, I say, in order for me to sin, I have to give over to this thing, and that is when it has all the power in me. But other than that, it is useless to he, and it will be useless against me until I yield it.
Amen.
Okay, brethren, I will just give 2 quotations here, and we close off for this morning, right? Now I want to read one here from this page, this track here, right? And I'm reading it. It says, one safeguard remove from conscience the indulgence of one evil habit, a single neglect of the high claims of duty may be the beginning of a course of deception that will pass you into the ranks of those who are serving Satan. While you are all the time professing to love God and His cause. And this is taken from Mind, Character and Personality, Volume 1, page 35 by Sister Ellen G. White. Okay, brethren? Read it over again?
Please, yes.
Okay. She says here, one safeguard remove from conscience the indulgence of one evil habit, a single neglect of the high claims of duty may be the beginning of a course of deception that will pass you into the ranks of those who are serving Satan, while you are all the time professing to love God and His cause. See that, brethren? So we have to be guarded, yes. I remember also when she said, one step in the wrong direction could ruin a person.
Oh, yes.
You see, brethren? So by the grace of God, as we look at the fact about habit, you know, make sure that, you know, but I want to close off also with this one quotation I love very much in the book We Sanctify Life. She says, correct religious habits. If we would develop a character which God can accept, we must form correct habits in our religious life. Daily prayer is as essential to growth in grace and even to spiritual life itself, as is the temporal food to the physical well-being. We should accustom ourselves to lift the thoughts often to God in prayer. If the mind wanders, we must bring it back by persevering effort. Habit will finally make it easy. We cannot for one moment separate ourselves from Christ with safety. We may have His presence to attend us at every step, but only by observing the conditions which He Himself has laid down. Religion must be made the great business of life. Everything else should be held subordinate to this. All our powers of soul, body, and spirit must be engaged in the Christian warfare. We must look to Christ for strength and grace, and we shall gain the victory as surely as Jesus died for us. Amen, brethren? Amen. So it's a very wonderful quotation, and we'll have to stop here for now by the grace of God, and we will just close off to finish this part, and then we'll do the song service, and then continue, right?
Amen.
Okay, so let us have a word of prayer, brethren. Let's show you first.
One thought that strikes my mind, right? When you come to Christ, God justifies us and makes you right. Okay? And He makes you righteous. Yes. When you come to Christ, God justifies you, He makes you righteous. And then they say, He cleanses you from all filthiness and all idol values. So there is no idol value in you or no filthiness in you. So you are free from those filthiness and those idol values. So what in sanctification you work now to deal with is the knowledge or the remembrance of the knowledge of the wrong that you used to practice, and to deal with your habits and things with that, right? So when the devil comes to tempt you, he doesn't bring something from in you as a temptation. It's externalized forces coming to tempt you for you to receive back the values and gain in your mind, or embrace it as gain as the idea to live after. You understand? And once we understand that and we know that in sanctification is not idol values in you say dealing with, but dealing with your habit by dealing with the knowledge that is in the memory that was stored in the mind about the wrong way to practice it and the experience of it. You're dealing with that. You understand that what you're dealing with is really the knowledge of the thing and the knowledge of wrong and the habit of it. You only understand that, you understand properly, better to help yourself. Because I hear some people say sometimes things that is in us, and then sometimes I ask myself the problem, what justifies you? What in you? If Christ in your heart, then what is in His Christ? So what you actually doing is just past habits and a knowledge of the wrong that you used to practice. You understand?
You all understand that?
Amen.
Amen. Very well.
Amen.
What you said just stimulating to say one more thing. Remember, Jesus Christ says, without me, He can do what? So the question is, who is in charge of your body? Is He outside of you, in heaven, so that you are godless without God and God is in charge of your body? Or is He in your heart leading the battle? In you. And so that is why we have to learn to present all our teachings with God dwelling in you as the source of every success. If He is in you leading the battle, you will get victory over sin. You must never let the anti-seal, which is a teaching that could take different phrases, influence us, that we will have to be without God to fight on your own. If you're fighting on your own, you fail already.
But without me, you can't do nothing.
Right? Because I have in my hand here now. What is the cleansing of the sanctuary, right? And what I pick up from what Brother Michael just saying there is something like he making a distinction with some terms, right? You have here past, present sins, and you have idol values. If you're saying that you're dealing with the knowledge of God, in contrast to you having God in you, When you say idol values, give some more explanations in contrast. You can catch what I say. What about Dina?
Idol values.
Yes, idol values. Because if you say idol values, where are the idol values?
Idols have always been the value you hold for the thing.
Right.
Somebody carved a forehand woman, you understand, and they say she's light. You understand? And she's getting rid of that. It's just a carving from somebody. And it's just mythology to a carving or carvings. But what value do you hold for that? If you hold that as God in a female form, that's your value. And based upon your idol value, by that it means that idol is your ideal, you will operate. Because the human mind was meant to hold ideals and operate from the ideals.
So where is the ideal?
The ideal is the idol. And that's why I call it idol values.
Yeah, but where is it? Is it in the
Obviously in your mind.
Right. So what I'm trying to get is, what Michael say, God is in you. So where is the idol value? Idol value.
Once God is in you, it is God that replaces the idol value. Once God is in you, you don't have idol value. But if a person is saying, my problem is what is in me, you have to understand what they mean. If they mean when their mind goes back on the wrongs that they are familiar with, and it weakens them in their thinking, so they say, my problem is in me. What do they mean when they say that? So with such a person, you have to show them you went back and hold your wrongs as the ideal again. And obviously your problem is in you. So you have to repent and be justified again. But the remembrance of wrong is not wrong. The remembrance of your old idols is not sin. But when you remember, your attitude towards it is to have the one who is reigning in you, Yahweh, to lead the battle. Which means to say, his truth causes the body of sins to cease to exist in you, and his truths give you wisdom to deal with the things in front of you. And since those truths are in you, wrong feelings cannot come up. And since those truths are in you, you just have to act according to those truths. Now if a person says, well, I'm getting temptation, it may simply mean something outside alluring them, but something outside telling you it is nice, it is purpose, it is pleasure, it's not sin for you. You must destroy it with the truths that you have in your mind. Because remember, Yahweh is in you, in charge of the battle. You see, our problem is when we give up the reign of Yahweh in our hearts. Amen. That's our problem. Once you have God as the ideal, then we cannot have idol as our ideal.
Alright, so let me ask Sister Sandra, right? We've been through this many times before, right, brethren? Where you have the conscious mind, the subconscious, and the unconscious. Now we know the unconscious mind is also called the memory bank. In the memory bank is stored all your past, whether good or bad. Right? So good or bad. It's stored in the memory bank with the unconscious mind. Remember, when the person is converted, all they have in their conscious mind that they hold as the ideal value is the love of God. So in your present consciousness, all they have is God's love. Right? Love of God. Right? In your present consciousness. However, in your unconscious mind or your memory bank is stored your past. Right? What happens is the devil uses that to bring as a temptation before you, whilst you consciously have the love of God in your heart. So when that comes to you now, you use the love of God, you see the foolishness and the deception of this, and you reject it. So you remain converted. Now remember, under the walk in sanctification, yeah? Remember your walk in sanctification is where God is giving you graces. Sister Sandra, you hear me right?
I'm listening and I'm following what you have to take.
Alright.
I don't go what you say.
Okay. Alright. So in your walk in sanctification, you are walking, remember sanctification is in the realm of sinfulness. So you are abiding in the love of God and you are walking. And God is continually giving you graces to deal with things that is stored in your unconscious mind or your memory bank. Okay, brethren? So whenever they come, whenever the devil seeks to use that to try to get you to fall, you use the faith in which is the love of God and you destroy the deception. And you remain faithful. It is as simple as that. There's nothing hard, brethren. These are very wonderful, simple explanations of the truth. Nothing hard to follow.
I just was trying to work out the comparison with what Brother Michael was saying. But Brother Michael emphasized that brethren has been saying that you have values in you, and you have these values in you, and you have God in you, or you're converted. So if you're converted and you say you have values with you, and you were talking this morning, struggling with habits, what it is really taking place? Where is the values that you had before, or the false values, or the ideal values? And if it's in the mind that this is taking place, then what it is? I don't want to
everything is based upon what the individual needs and the
I will just say over what I said, right? By the grace of God, right? I was addressing when I said I was dealing with the issue of what? When God dwells in the mind. And God is in the mind.
According to the
you're free when God is in the mind. Right.
Present consciousness.
Okay.
You have God in your mind.
Okay, I would do it that way for your mind's sake, like God speaks, right? When you have God, God is always dwelling here as a conscious ID value.
Right.
You don't dwell in here as a subconscious ID value or in your unconscious value. There's a conscious ID value God dwelling here. God in your mind, right? Awake the righteousness and sin not. So it's a conscious thing. So when God dwells in you, in the mind, He frees you from all filthiness, from all idols. All filthiness, all idols He frees the mind from. But what is in the memory bank of the mind is a knowledge of the wrongs. But some people let's use a statement, as I say, that what dwells in the memory bank is the values for the past wrongs in the memory bank of the mind. And you know the values is idol values.
So that is wrong.
And what I was telling you when I was addressing, I say you can't have God in your mind, storing in your mind and have values for wrongs also in the mind. I say you will have right, no, I say right, but what you will have is a knowledge of it. And only yes no in the subconscious mind. You'll have a knowledge of it. And it's only here, it's only when you accept back that in your mind, it becomes an idol value, an idol for you. But besides that, it's in your mind as a remembrance of our past, wrong you did, as knowledge, not as an idol value.
So when a person says, and they say in the mind, and then they're talking about what is happening presently, is the same mind. But if they didn't make a category between the present consciousness you're abiding in, and then something in the past, which is stored in the unconscious, then you would think that they're mixing up everything. But they need to make a clarification about what is presently being addressed in contrast to the idol that was there before.
No problem. Because explain that way to deal with something in your mind that most of the time we just have a problem with. And by our own pattern and reason, we just make ourselves, we just cause the problem for ourselves, how we think about it. So I explain it the way I explain it, so we will make a problem for ourselves, how we think about things. And Brother Naro gave that study before, and he explained how idols could only dwell in the mind as a present consciousness. As long as it is not there as a present consciousness, it is not an idol value. When God cleanse your mind from that and remove it from you, it is not an idol value. But you have the knowledge of the wrong in mind.
If you presently remember it in your conscious mind,
it is still not an idol value.
Once you do that,
it's still not an idol value.
Remember, brethren, a value, when we say an idol value, a value is the words or estimation you place upon something. Just determine how you relate to it.
Right.
So if you esteem that in a particular way, then you will relate to that in a particular way.
Right.
But when you have the love of God in your heart now, You know, brethren, I don't know how much of you all has really studied this thing here. This is beautiful in your brethren. Beautiful.
When you have the love of God in your heart.
Yeah, when you have the love of God in your present conscious mind.
Could you imagine having the love of God there and God is not there? That's what the Muslims told me. They say you only have the attributes of Allah. You can't have Allah within you. That's the foundation of Islam. Islam was built out of that concept that if Allah dwells in you, you will become a God. So you can't have Allah, you can only have his attributes. And from here, Islam take off and it ruined the world today. That's why a Muslim will do anything because he doesn't have God there in him. You only have the attributes when you want to have it. You understand? So you can't have the love of God in you and God not there. That is a godless love.
And what shall I say? Same thing too. Say love is of God, but not God. Same thing. Yes.
That is the anti-seed.
Alright, the source is an Paul and somebody else. But a Paul.
Right. This same concept here, right? The conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, right? That helped me a lot with a problem I had.
Amen.
Right? I used to smoke. I was a chronic smoker. I used to smoke like 2-3 packs of cigarette per day. Right? Even when I came to the truth, I was still smoking. But then,
thank God for the time that God had come up with.
well, here how it went. Here how it went. As when I finally did stop smoking, right? The memory of the smoking and how it used to make me feel used to come up. And I seriously thought I was still sinning by having this memory. And I still used to feel it because the tobacco was still in my system. And then certain habits that they developed with the smoking. Like as first thing in the morning is a cigarette. As before I eat a cigarette, when I finish eat a cigarette, when I'm going in the toilet, a cigarette, when I come out the toilet. So it was habits that I developed. So sometimes when I go in and eat, no, it was really, really bad, eh? It was really bad. As a matter of fact, President, I started smoking from the age of 9. From the age of 9. True, no fault of mine, but that's how it started, you know? So, after a while now, when this study came, and I spoke to Brother Medina said, listen to me. The memory of you smoking and even the memory of how it used to make you feel is not a sin. You're not smoking, you're not sinning. And this study went over and over in my mind until I work on that by God's grace until I actually develop an allergy towards cigarette smoke now. I can't smell the thing now, it's going to make me feel sick to my stomach. And this is what made me understand and realize that a memory of things that I used to do is not sin. It's not my idol. It's not an idol value within me anymore. It's not my ideal anymore. God is now my ideal. And He is strong enough to help me to overcome these things. And this study is what helped me with that smoking problem that I had, brethren. So, Sister Sandra, having a memory of something is not a sin. It's no longer your ideal. It's no longer an idol value. If I yield to it now and start back to smoke, Lord forbid, and start back to smoke, then I can say, well, it's not an idol value. It's not my ideal. God is no longer my ideal. And that will never happen because I'm allergic to the thing by God's grace.
I really just focus on the concept. You understand? Per practical example, very well, but you have to work that same principle or concept in every area and facet of your existence. You understand? So you have to work it out to see it in its practical rightness, that you're victorious and you really truly conquering and you're getting through here. You're getting through here. You're coming through here because you understand the concept and it is being worked out. Amen. Exactly. I'm not taking it.
Alright, on YouTube, right, that's the gospel, we study the pattern of the gospel, so we can look at it, right? Okay, Brother Paul first and then Brother Ray, and then we close, right? Brother Paul?
I just wanted to say, as we learn the systematic theology and we go into the baptism classes, we learn
that habits, you have habits in your unconscious mind as sinful habits, not practice. Right? So these sinful habits exist as a knowledge in the unconscious mind, but you're not presently practicing it. So if it exists like that in the unconscious mind, it means that you're not sin. You're not in sin while you have it in the unconscious mind, but not as a present value consciousness of the mind. However, I would just like to say this. The Bible says, all scripture is given by inspiration of God. And it's comfortable for what? Doctrine. For correction. Correction of habits that is stored in the unconscious mind also. So scripture must be used to deal with the knowledge, but the knowledge not existing as a present value in the mind.
Amen.
Okay, brethren, I just want to share the same principle that is being identified here about abiding in the love of God in the conscious mind and so on. I just want to share the working of that principle from a historical event that transpired with the children of Israel. Now, Brother Medina said something very, I don't know how much you all take it to be serious, when he says we are not to behold the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit. When he said that, I was reasoning this way. I said, look, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit had its counterpart in ancient Egypt. So let me go and see how the lamb battled with the Egyptians in ancient time and see what I could gather from what he was saying there. So I'm quoting Exodus chapter 14. Now this is the children of Israel leaving Egypt and Pharaoh and his army pursuing them. Right? But the high point I want to come with is to show what Brother Kavanaugh showed me about this same principle here. From verse 10, let me take it from verse 10. It says, and when Pharaoh drawn,
Exodus chapter 14, from verse 10, brethren.
it says, and when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. Now remember, the counsel is given, do not behold the beast that ascend out of the bottomless pit. To do that means that you lose your justification. The consciousness of the love of God will cease from being in you. Here we are being told, the Egyptian armies pursuing the children of Israel, and they lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. And what happened? And they were so afraid. So the minute they behold this thing, they lose the love of God from it in their heart. But the Bible says, love of God casts out all fear. But here we see they become fearful, which would mean the present consciousness was upon what they were beholding. Right? And then we are being told here, if we look at verse 13, right? Verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not. So you have to give them back evidence. Encourage their heart once more. Stand still. The work is not yours. The work is Yahweh. Stand still and see the salvation of Yahweh. Now remember the term salvation of Yahweh. It's Yahshua. Yahweh or salvation, Yahweh salvation. So he was telling them, put back your eyes upon Jesus. You're beholding the Egyptians and all the military warfare and what they will do and so on, and that take away the love of God from the heart. So he says here, right? Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptian whom you have seen today, you shall see them no more forever. And Yahweh shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Keep your justification. Keep the consciousness of the love of God. And then we are both told here in verse 90. Verse 90. And the angel of God went before the camp of Israel. Let me read over that. And the angel of God which went before the camp of Israel, he did something. He removed and went behind them. And the pillar of cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And you know, the Bible tells us when Yahweh stands, it's judgment. And to stand behind you, your past, blotting out your past sins. And this is why I talk about it too, after probation is closed, right? And under the fifth plague, the dense darkness and all of that. The time of Jacob's trouble is where the saints will be They will be wondering if your passing is being blotted out. They will be having that experience. But the minute we get the assurance that yes, it means to say the countenance will light up and so on, and you're ready now for the 6th and 7th plagues, the coming of Christ and so on. So what I saw here the same principle at work in the past, it's the same principle at work in the present, and it is the same principle we have to be working in us for the future.
Amen. Amen. Amen, brethren? Amen. Okay, so we let's have our closing prayer for this part. And let us pray. O kind and gracious God, the eternal Yahweh, we are ever so thankful unto you for your love, for your mercy, and your patience towards us, Father. We thank you ever so much for the wonderful truths that has been recorded in thy word and even has been put together in systematic theology in an organized and systematic way so that we can understand carefully how you work, O Father. We thank you ever so much for these evidences, and we pray that you will continue to strengthen our minds, that as you prepare us for the great battle that is to come upon us, Father, as we stand now in the faith, developing our personality traits so that you can use us to do a great and efficient work to exalt you to be God and God alone. Continue to bless us, continue to strengthen us, and encourage us all is our humble prayer. In Jesus' holy name, we ask these things of thee, and we thank you ever so much for hearing us and blessing us now. Amen. Amen.